Okay. Welcome to my stream. Hello. So I'm testing some new overlays. Hopefully everything's working. I've been working on them for a while, so. But I just wanted to test out my new setup. I've been rearranging my office for the last few hours and playing around with Streamlabs and whatnot. So here we are. It's very purple, as you can see. So I'm gonna play a little bit of Demon's Tilt just to make sure everything's working and running well on the live stream. So if you can't hear me or can't hear the game or any volumes or anything are funky, just let me know in the chat so I can tweak stuff. I did a lot of test runs, so it should be working fine. But I wanted to do some live jazz and see how it goes and play around with some of my scenes that are super cute and spooky. So let's play some demonic pinball on normal mode, please. All right, Radical. Oh gosh. So I'm just using my keyboard to play this, and the shift keys are what you use for the flippers, and my keyboard for this computer, I use it for typing mostly, and it's has really big keys, like the tall, thick keys, which is great for typing, but you have to push the keys down really hard. So when you're trying to have these quick little reactionary movements for the flippers, it's a little bit off. The reaction time is just a little bit different. You have to be a little quicker and push the keys down really hard to get them to kind of register. So probably not the best type of keyboard for this game, but like I said, we're just kind of testing out. Oh god! Being really bad at pinball. And choosing a don't take your eyes off the screen game for testing purposes was also a great idea. So, but I thought this game, the aesthetic actually goes really well with my overlay, so that's kind of cool. And I did not make or design the overlay at all. Bought it from a designer, which is cool. I really liked it, so I kind of just went on Etsy to look at designs that were kind of out there just to kind of see. And I ended up really liking this one, so I did just buy it immediately without even really knowing how to set it up and whatnot. So I've been doing a lot of research and just messing around in Streamlabs all week. I've just spent a couple hours, several days this week, just playing with different settings and doing research and Googling things. And of course I have a Mac, so that just kind of adds a tiny extra layer of complication to things, because everything's a little bit different. It's a little pickier about certain stuff, but I think we've got it set up decently for this for now. I'm still working on getting my PS5 set up. That's going to be a little more complicated. We're going to be, doing the whole capture card thing and running the PlayStation through that, through the computer, through Streamlabs, and yada yada yada. I have to make sure I can connect my PS5 controller to my Mac as well, which I know I can. It's just I've never done it before. So, and then messing with audio settings. So, alright, I'm gonna play another round. Awesome. But yeah, I think the setup works pretty decently for this purpose right now. I'm just using my built-in camera on my iMac, which is a pretty good camera. I mean, obviously I can't like angle it or anything because it's just, you know, built into the monitor or screen or whatever. But I do have a webcam on the side for a different angle, but it's not as good quality, so I'm hoping to get a better camera at some point. And I'm also just using the built-in microphone, which doesn't sound terrible, but it's a little tinny, so I think it'll sound better if I got like either a headset or some different mics. But just kind of wanted to test out the setup and the overlay and see if it's something that I think I'm gonna like and want to continue to use and play around with further before I like spend money on any other devices and whatnot. So but I've got some games on Steam that I want to play that I can definitely use this setup for. You know, eventually once I get my PS5 hooked up through here, that'll be cool. I might still just continue streaming on my PlayStation in the meantime. It just won't have like the overlays and stuff, which is totally fine. I've been doing that for a while now, but you know, every once in a while some random person comes into my chat and they're like, oh, why don't you have any customization? Or, oh, I can make you customization. And, you know, they're obviously just trying to sell me stuff or whatever, but and I'm sure they still will, and say, oh, I can design you, you know, a better scene or whatever. But would they design me a baby Baphomet scene? I don't know. For some reason, like, even when I play pinball in, like, real life, like, I always do both flippers at the same time, which probably isn't, like, the best strategy, because if it, you know, I'm sure that can screw you up in certain cases, but I'm just, like, I get nervous, so I'm, like, all hands on deck. Then my brain doesn't have to think about like which side to hit. It's just like, oh, the ball's coming towards us. Hit everything at once. Yeah. And as many times as I've played this game, I mean, I haven't played it like a ton, but it's been like probably, I mean, dozens of times. I don't really like know what all the different little areas do. Like, I know if you light up all of these letters here that spell arcane, like something happens, but I don't necessarily know like what I need to do to get those letters to light up, you know? I just push buttons and watch the pretty colors and count my points at the end, basically. But the music's kind of cool. I was actually wondering earlier if there's like a soundtrack and if it's on Spotify, because I have a playlist with video game music that I like, and I would totally put this on there if it's available, so. And actually earlier today, Spotify, like, you know how they'll curate you playlists or whatever? They curated me like a Lovecraftian horror soundtrack thing, which was cool. It had music from American McGee's Alice, which I've never, I don't want to say I've never played it. I probably haven't ever played it. My parents had it when I was a kid. I definitely remember watching my mom play parts of it. Oh, look at me. I'm in 0th and 1st place on my own profile. I want to play it one more time because I'm going to keep talking. American McGee's Alice. I used to watch my mom play it when I was a kid. I don't know if that sounds weird, but my parents were really into horror, so I've just been exposed to it since I was basically a toddler. And I always thought it looked cool. I don't think I ever played it myself, but I would see my mom play it. We had it on, PC. Obviously, that was like early 90s, mid 90s. And apparently it's like a really hard game to get now for some reason. They made a sequel, it's like called Return to Madness or something. And I've heard that like the sequel, if you buy it, has DLC for the original game, but like it doesn't work. I don't know. I think there are ways to play it. There's like archive websites and like libraries and stuff where you can theoretically find the original. I would like to play it at some point. It always just looked really cool. I don't know if it necessarily holds up because it was like early 90s graphics and everything, but you know, I just remember it being like bloody and there's like a zombie cat and, you know, Alice in Wonderland kind of motifs, but in an extra spooky way, so seems pretty cool. So that music from that game was on this playlist this morning that Spotify curated for me, so that was kind of cool. And then it had a bunch of like Silent Hill, a couple other games that I'm not really familiar with, or you know, games that I've heard of but haven't really played a bunch, like Amnesia, I think Vampire Hunter or something, a bunch of different stuff, so that was kind of cool. But it just really made me want to play Alice. I think at some point I'm gonna actually put some effort into looking for getting some sort of copy of it. If I can't find something, I might just end up watching a playthrough because I really want to learn more about that game. I wish my mom still had the CD-ROM of it. I don't know what I would do with it, but just rebuild an old 1995 spec Windows PC to play freaking old-ass games. Oh, that was weird. But I was also reading this morning a list that someone had put together of like 20, I don't know if it was top 20, I think it was just like, oh, here's 20, you know, interesting horror games from the early 90s. And I think most of them were like PlayStation games, but they did have like Silent Hill and Resident Evil on there, but there were a bunch of other obscure ones. I don't think I'd heard of any of them, but a lot of them looked pretty cool. I don't think they had Alice on there, but it just kind of reminded me of some like creepy 90s games that, you know, either I played when I was a kid or my parents played, and I remember watching them play. You know, one being Seventh Guest, which is like a puzzle game, but it's very like just kind of creepy vibes. It's like point and click, kind of similar to Myst, like but just creepy animations. You know, there's ghosts and skulls and weird stuff. That game's actually pretty hard. I did try to play it recently, and some of the puzzles are they're just not very straightforward. It's a little bit tough. But that's a good one. That was very popular in the late 90s as well. There's another one called The 11th Hour that we had, that apparently is the sequel to Seventh Guest. I'm not sure if I knew that when I was a kid or whatever, but I definitely remember watching, at least my dad, I think, playing Seventh Guest, like, a lot. I don't really remember the gameplay so much of 11th Hour. I think it takes place actually in the same house where Seventh Guest does, because again, it's like a sequel type deal. But I very vividly remember the cover of that game, like the CD, the booklet or whatever. Like, it always creeped me out when I was a kid, but it's like one of those things where, like, even though you think it's creepy, you just keep looking at it. And it was like burned in my memory. It's got this like doll head, but she's like missing an eye, and there's like a millipede coming out of it, and then there's like this big like broken clock looking thing. So when I was reading about these games. Like I was going back and looking up like 90s horror PC games or whatever, and I saw the picture of the cover and I was like, oh my god, like I probably could have drawn it from memory. I should get like a print of it to put out, hang up somewhere. But those two are good. Like I said, I haven't really played through 11th Hour at all, but I think I'd like to try. I don't know if it's as hard as 7th Guest or if it's supposed to be a little bit easier. And then the other one is Phantasmagoria, which if you're not familiar with, that's an interesting one. It's all live action film with like real actors and real people, and they use like practical effects for all the gore. It's very gory, hence having gore in the name, but yeah, apparently the budget for that game was like really huge. I think they ended up spending like $4 or $5 million just on making the game alone. They actually built, I was reading about this on Wikipedia earlier, but they built like a $1.5 million studio just for the filming of the game, which is kind of crazy. So it's basically a movie, you know, and you kind of point and click and do things, but they've filmed with real actors all the kind of different scenes and options and stuff playing out, which is crazy. But it's very gory, very violent. So, like I said, I remember it from when I was like a kid. Parents playing it, but I remember clicking around in there. I don't know if... What the heck? Break it up, guys. I don't know if my parents knew I was playing it, or if I just kind of grabbed the CD. They didn't really, like, hide things from us. They didn't really care. I mean, they cared, but... You know, we watched enough horror movies and stuff, and I think my parents knew I had the wherewithal to know, like, oh, it's just a movie. But I'm grateful for it. Just grew up around horror and creepy stuff, and look at me now. Oh god, is that it? My shoulders are starting to get tight here. Oh god. They didn't even give me any warning there. I thought I was like done. Seriously, dude. Does this game come with a masseuse? I don't know if I want to play again. I kind of do. I just wanted to do a really short stream to make sure everything is working and looking good. Which I think it is. I've been in this room for like the last 4 or 5 hours just rearranging stuff and messing with computers and fighting with technology and everything else, so alright, one more round, why not? I'm not even like paying attention to what I'm doing because I'm just talking, but so yeah, let me know what you think of the setup and the scene and everything. Like I said, this game I kind of can't really take my eyes off of it, so I'm not doing a lot of scene changes during this stream, but you know, there's pause screen animations and new follower alerts, so if anyone is watching and isn't following me, you should follow me so we can see my follower alert. It's pretty cool. What is happening? Oh my god, I'm stuck! Like, I can't even see where the ball is. I should probably move my flipper, right? Ah. No! Help me! Only 2? Get it. Those bug things are so gross. Oh my god. I couldn't even tell where I was. These little blue... I'm pointing at my screen like you can see my finger. Can you see my cursor? These little blue fiery balls. I thought that was me. Okay. Whew. Let's try again. I mean, this is one of those games that you can just, like, lose track of time and end up playing it for, like, an hour, and then you're like, oh shit. I was gonna go grocery shopping or something, but I don't think I'm going to. They close in, like, 45 minutes, and I don't feel like going. So I'll probably go tomorrow. Are we stuck again? What's happening? I have enough food to get me through the night. Got my Spindrift. No Hito. Alright. Nice. So yeah, apparently today was also daylight savings time. I think we lost an hour, we skipped ahead. That kind of screwed me up a little bit. Totally forgot about it. I mean, all, like, my phone and watch and everything changes automatically, but I wasn't really paying attention to time. But that was kind of screwy. I was also up super late last night because we went to Northeast Comic Con yesterday, which is like maybe like an hour and a half away. So I got home around midnight, but it was really fun. The con, I went as Daria. I did like a really lazy Daria. Let's try a different scene, shall we? Just for fun. Nobody's chatting, so... There, the chat box works. Hell yeah. Alright, well, thanks to those of you who tuned in. Oh, that's not what I wanted to do. What am I looking for? Cool. Thank you for tuning in. I'll probably be doing more streaming eventually. I don't really have a schedule, but I'm still kind of working on some setup stuff. Hopefully this all worked. Hope you guys like the layout. I hope the game screen isn't too small on this view. But let me know what you think. Comments, whatever. I don't know. My socials are all on my About page, so feel free to hop on my Twitter, Instagram, whatever, and tell me if you hate it. Don't really care. I like it, so. And it was a lot of work to set up, so I'm gonna keep it. But thanks for watching. I'll see you guys next time.